it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question. And that is, how do you handle the toxicity of someone who is psychopathic? Someone who has really thrown you a curveball in your life. How do you basically process this individual? How do you process that sort of really profound negative energy? And it's to understand, kind of an important tool for you to understand about these individuals, because they can really, really turn your life upside down. They can gaslight, they can manipulate you and how you perceive things. It's very difficult to keep focus and keep perspective around them because their energy is so overwhelming. What you're feeling is their manipulative thoughts. What you're feeling is that tension. The severe tension is causing you a distorted thought process. When you're around someone who is psychopathic and you're trying to detach from this allure, this sort of seduction, this magnetic pull, that is the energy. Thoughts are energy, and thoughts are things. Your thoughts are generated by, your neurochemistry, your wiring and firing of your brain, and it puts you in a process where you manifest things in your life. So it's the seed of your intention. When you say, well, something's in the back of my mind. I love that saying, like, it's in the back of my mind. It's in your limbic system. It's in your emotional brain, and your emotional brain is striving to reduce the gap between what you have and what you want. So it's always like energetically moving you forward. It's that forward momentum in life. And when you're around someone who is psychopathic, what you're picking up on is that manipulative energy that you can feel that is overwhelming and engulfing. It is the gaslighting energy. You can feel it before it comes. It's kind of like a dog who senses, like a rainstorm, and they want to go and hide. They can hear the rumbling. They can feel the electricity in the room. The energy of someone who is psychopathic, once you've kind of worked with many people of this and then helped others, you'll be able to detect these types of individuals and the energetic field. And how do you rid yourself? How do you detach? It's important for you to understand and perceive them exactly for who they are and what they are. So, and it's to also remove your previous sort of way of thinking about these individuals in your mind, in your mind's eye, as either putting them up on a pedestal, what we call over-idealizing, or over-degrading them. So they're, the scum of the earth, they're evil this, people get caught up in the anger or the over-idealizing, depending on where you're at in the journey. Well, and so you have to detach completely and just understand that, by the way, these people's, even though they look outside very normal, they can be, at the workplace, they can be at the grocery store, they can be in your family. I mean, these people are everywhere. I mean, they could be someone who's your doctor. There are also those people who are criminal and, corrupt, and there's a disguise, though. There's sort of a belligerence about them. There's an unruly, they're not practicing lawful, means. There's a feeling of corruption, a feeling of, really discomfort that is around. And it's because you're feeling that, that sort of immorality or corruption and that sort of crumbling base that they are trying to manipulate others into a base of corruption, meaning you cannot hold your ground around them. Basically, what they're striving for is people's downfall, a business downfall, a love relationship downfall. These people have a mask or a disguise which is set forth to the degree that most people could not imagine. So imagine, like Jennifer Lawrence, she's a wonderful actress, so I am not an actress, but she goes into her actress mode, and she can become all these different characters. So a psychopath is a similar way where they can, metamorphosize between being, skilled at this, skilled at that, and they adapt their persona like a chameleon depending on the environment. So there can be no continuity. If you've ever witnessed this, it's like really scary, but it's like a train wreck. See, what ends up happening is people end up getting so sucked in by the energy because it is so engulfing. There's an energetic field around these individuals that you just cannot extract yourself from. It's like a pull. It's like a seduction. But yet you have to just refrain. You just have to emerge out of that energetic pool and get them, realize that they are on another dimension that does not include you. When I say that, I mean energetically, they don't process emotions in relationships in the same way. They don't relate to others. It's a mask, a persona, even their marriage, even their intimacy encounters. It's all about the engulfing. And so these people will go and get what they want, and they'll move and keep very busy, hectic lives, and very parasitic in nature. So just to come into your own, it's very important to understand that you absolutely positively must go no contact with someone who is psychopathic, who really is corrupt, and even beyond broken. It's very difficult to find a word that describes the energy. I describe it as lethal, meaning that it's very innocuous to people. It's very poisonous. So it's very strange to describe this to people who have never encountered this type of individual, but if you've encountered someone who is psychopathic, we know exactly what you're talking about. So you're not crazy. You have the brainwashing is so severe and so profound and so prolific that it can engulf people. It is that strong. It is that it's that depraved. And it's very difficult to put words to the energy, the unscrupulousness, and it's kind of like a train wreck where you want to watch it and like, oh my God, what's going to happen? They always say that. So it's getting glued and seduced because you want to see the outcome. You want to see where can this go? And so you have to stop that question of yourself and ask yourself, what can I do right now to come into my own? What can I do to come right now into the pool of my own peace? Oh my gosh, what feels so good right now that is just completely separate and distinct from that tension? Where can I go within myself that is tension free? And I'm not confused. The astromations are. I'm not confused by this energy. I'm not affected by this negativity. I'm not twisted by the force. I am not. And I refute and I refuse this. I refuse. I send it away. I send it back to the source from which it came. It will not disrupt me. It will not confuse me. It will not shatter my thoughts. It will not break through my awareness that I'm aware of this individual, and I choose not to act in their direction. My direction is elsewhere. I can feel the direction, but I refuse the direction. I push it back. I shorten it to the source from which it came. And my energy is untainted. My energy is unaffected. My energy is pure. And my senses are pure. And I know that my energy and senses are completely distinct and separate and distinguished from that individual and what they have created in me. It is no longer part of me. I refuse it. And it feels so amazing to come back to my senses and repeat and repeat and repeat what feels good. What feels good? This feels good. Repeat it over and over. Have deliberate, concise actions and speech patterns. You have to retrain your mind to focus on that incredible pool within you. which is like really refreshing your senses. When I talk about rehabilitating yourself, I really mean from your essence to your all your senses, giving to yourself and putting, you know, blinders on to this individual, not consuming their energy whatsoever, because the energy is a forward-facing energy that is coming at you, but is designed to mix or disrupt your own perception. This is going to sound crazy to people who have never encountered, but psychopathic energy, it's kind of like an energy scrambler. You can be focused, you can be happy, and, you know, everything is cruising along, you've got your momentum, and then here comes the energy scrambler. Like if you've ever heard of that term, it's trying to disrupt your electrical field, your thought process, your feeling process. And hitherto, you might have been seduced by this energy. You might have fallen for it. You might have been vulnerable to this interspecies predator. You might have been an actual prey to this individual. You might have been a victim. I mean, you might have experienced victimhood. You might have really truly been taken down. But when you get up and you've got, like, you know, two eyes just peeking out up into the horizon, it's like going, wow, you know, I can emerge again. I'm going to resensitize myself. And it has no involvement with that whatsoever. There's no residual experience. There's no residual feeling from this individual. I clear all my environment and all my senses of this individual. And I do so now, and so it is. You command this energy to leave your energy field. You have to command it. It's like a state of will. You're reenacting your free will. It's a very powerful exercise to reset your neural system. And I'm completely in my own. I'm completely restored. I am restored to my peace. I'm restored to my sanctity. I'm restored to my individuality. I am restored in balance. I am restored in abundance. I am restored in magnificence. I am restored, and what I have is mine. All my senses that I have are mine, and they belong to me. These trillions and trillions of cells belong to me right now, and what I have is mine. And I no longer am scrambled by that detractor energy. I'm no longer scrambled by that distortion energy. I'm no longer distorted. I know I am no longer distorted in my senses. My senses serve me. My senses are true to me, and I trust my senses. And I know what to distrust now. That is the key. That is the core. It is understanding that that is an individual who you cannot trust. So if you've never encountered that, you must understand and grow as a person to understand that there are some individuals, they can be very close in your proximity. They can be very close to you. You might be married. This might be your family. This might be your coworkers, your neighbors. There are actually some people who you pick up on their energy you absolutely, unequivocally cannot trust, but they might have seduced you. You might have been intimate with this person. You might have worked this person. You might have fallen for their extreme neediness, you know, the way that they suck you in and everybody look at me and ooh and ah and ogle, you know, those are the people who fall for the train wreck. Don't be a faller. Don't, you know, stand firm. Don't react. Be indifferent. Don't be, you know, reactive. Oh my God, you know, because they're like, as I equate it to, they're like the Seinfeld, remember Kramer? I love Seinfeld, but remember how Kramer would come in and his hair would be shaking and he'd be like, you know, he was so hilarious. But, you know, a psychopath comes in very much like that. They come in with this big, magnanimous energy. Magnanimous meaning very large, vast. And the body language speaks. And oftentimes it speaks so loud that it overpowers others' intuition, especially those people who are vulnerable. Those people who are impressionable, those people who are lonely, those people who need to belong. You know, they have a neediness to be treated in a certain way. There's a weakness, a frailty, or there's something about them that is like low-hanging fruit where they just go, yup, this is mine, and they do what they want with this fruit that they have plucked, or this little, you know, chick that they have plucked from the herd, you know, this little goat that they have, sheep that they have plucked out, and they're like, yep, this is mine. And then they play with it, and they wound it, and then they heal it, and wound it, and heal it, and then it becomes this cycle of the psychopathic gaslighting. You know, it's like a psychological hijacking, where this person is then no longer thinking in tune, in align with their own values. They're kind of like swept off their feet, like a gone with the wind, you know, whoa. And, you know, they are just all of a sudden metamorphosized into this individual that individual wants to make them into. So it's kind of like they're putty in their hands, but the problem is that this person is changing them. They're not changing themselves. It's a sort of enticement to become molded into a shell or a reaction. It's a layer, it's a multi-dimensional reaction to this type of manipulation, which is a very psychological manipulation. The way that they will position themselves in your view and send out this energy. What you're feeling is their manipulative thoughts. You're feeling this sort of, as a psychopath has expressed to me, it's like oozing out from all over. And so it's an oozing, so they have a different energy. They are on a different dimension. That's the only way I can describe it. They're coming from a whole different place than humanity. They're not humane. They're not feeling sentient, warm-blooded creatures. They're like a cold-blooded snake. It's not a human. They are not a human. It is like a bit of snake that you just bit on your dinner plate, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, I ordered filet mignon, and this is freaking rattlesnake. This is freaking boa constrictor. This ain't no meat. And like, your senses, your taste will pick up on it right away once you have exposed them. And so to regain your senses, to really come back into your own, is to speak that into existence and to understand, you know, what it is that you have been with, and you need to detach and get rid of all of the remnants that were indicative or touched by this individual, whether it's items in your house, whether it's books, whether it's clothing that you used to wear, shoes, hats, profession. You know, you might need to really, really rethink and get that all out of your house. Things that they gave you, just throw it away. Fill a dumpster, fill 2 dumpsters if you have to, but that is like just a hunk of snake that you don't want on your shelf. Like, you don't want no, you know, you want to have a victory within that is like, you're holding, you've got yourself now. I think the experience with a psychopath is to help restore you to yourself. It's like, you think you don't have yourself? Boom. You know, life is going to make this experience happen to those people who need the wake up. You know, you don't know your senses. You think you're lost. You're easy picking. And then they throw you back wounded. They throw you back, you know, mesmerized. They throw you back in this whole concoction of neurochemicals that should not be together. The hyperarousal along with the psychological sort of scramble is then, it can be very tortuous to a lot of people, and very difficult for you to regain your focus after you have been through this. You know, and we do have a lot of viewers who this is their parents, and, you know, you are living there. So you need to come into your own and really comfort your senses. I mean, use things like water, like stay in the shower longer, take baths, you know, get into the Epsom salts, the aromatherapy, breathing in. Sorry, you know, there's a lot of really great healing, very strong aromatherapy. You need to work your senses, as I talk about in the book that I'm writing, Resensitizing. This is like amazing. It's a pure fragrance oil called Nag Champa. It is like Nagchamp, I'm not sure if I got this at a wellness conference that I went to, and it is just, I mean, I hope you can find this. I can, if I have another conference, I will let you know where to pick this up. They have other ones like pure lavender, but it is really strong, and it like really helps you engulf your own senses. You don't need your senses to be engulfed from this other very, very demonstrative scramble energy. I think it is, and like a psychopath will say, they're like an enigma. They will remain a puzzle that you can never solve. They will lead only to confusion and self-betrayal. But furthermore, they will cause you to see how disguised people can be. And then that they're really, it's almost like a Houdini magic trick. The way it's just like, oh my God, it's like the energy, there's a real energy center. And, you know, I'm not like I'm not talking like about, you know, an energy, but there's a quantum field energy that you can feel and sense once you've been around them in the unseen, you know, the radiant energy that emanates from this person's aura and their muscles and their organs. But it's really their manipulative thoughts that you're feeling, that you are picking up on. So don't enter into, the problem is they will position themselves in a way that is detracting from you. And it's a very keen, manipulative tactic that most ordinary people cannot do. They cannot succeed at this. The psychopath has a way of luring other people in and changing their perception of objects in the environment. In other words, a table doesn't look like a table. It looks like it just changes. It changes the perception of objects in the environment, if that makes sense. And so it is that destructive, and it causes an inertia of your own values, meaning it causes you to disconnect from your own values and empty them out and then have them filled by this manipulator. So it is very villainous. It's very vile. There's a feeling of corruption, you know, on this very intense level, very profound level. So you need to come into your own, detach from them completely, and resensitize using, textures that feel good, that move and massage your body as you wear them, like the fleece, the leather, the silk. You know, throw out and get some new clothes that massage you and support your body, like support socks. Get things like scarves. I do also recommend a recovery gift. You need to take yourself out on a recovery date where you are with yourself, you are with your whole self, and feeling that you are enough. And take that healed self and acknowledge and validate the boundaries and standards that you will witness and you want to feel. In other words, you're taking that healed self. If that healed self could feel magnificent for 2 hours, what would that healed self be like? Would it be someone who's conservative? Would it be someone who's nautical? Would it be kind of a rustic? You know, who is the ultimate healed you? I mean, to the next level than what you usually live like. You know, are you, are you a business person? Do you put on a suit and take yourself out? Do you put on a fancy dress? Do you put on some overalls? Do you put on, some very sheer fabrics? Or do you put on flannels? You know, when you get ready for your recovery date, you should absolutely positively get ready for it and have, start at 3 and finish at 5. And for these 3 hours, I'm going to carry myself as a heal, whole, stable, magnificent being. And I'm going to open, I'm going to close the door as a healed self. I'm going to feel no pain. I'm going to feel blissful for these 2 hours. And I'm going to take my healed self out, and I'm going to treat my healed self to what it really needs. And I'm going to allow my healed self to speak forward its needs. What I really need to do, now that I'm no longer wounded by this individual and they are no longer a part of my energy field, what I've always craved and wanted to do is. And you might say, you know what, I really want to go to a petting farm. I really want to go touch a cow. I really want to go ride a horse. I really want to go, boating. I really want to, paint. I really want to get some new lighting for my home. I really want to, and then allow yourself to speak. Now that I'm no longer impaired from the detractor force of this individual, my most whole self really would love to. And answer that question. What would it really love to do? Sit in a sauna, get a massage, seek acupuncture. Would you like to learn about something like botanicals? Would you like to learn about another culture? Would you like to learn another language? What would you love to do that you have not been allowed to do? Now that I'm no longer held back by this individual, I'm really going to become. What I never thought I'd become, but I'm going to do now is. Fill in the statement. Answer these questions for yourself. Ask yourself these new questions. It'll take you in the order of positive, orderly direction away from that detractor energy. And it'll just feel like you're like, a magnet in steel, if you've ever felt that. And then, like you can almost feel the energy pull, like you're pulling your energy back. Pull that energy back. Come into your own. And pull it in. And now that I've pulled my energy together and I'm stronger, I'm really going to become my best at. And once you do that, and you need to resensitize yourself. I talk about how important is all the senses, surrounding all your senses. How can I really feed my need for images? How can I really develop that within myself? How can I fuel myself with images? You have to understand that the back of your mind, where you really need to heal, it loves images. It'll answer your commands. So you need to give it images of the you that you want to become, and automatically your brain will work in your favor. And life will respond, the universe will respond in like, and then the quantum field starts working, and then the tools, the experiences, the fabrics, the scents, the people, the inspiration begins to all of a sudden ignite, and then you become inspired. Asking yourself these questions is in living inspired, getting out of that 99% and getting into that 1% inspiration. Is where you want to live, and you want to live there consistently. All the tools are designed to help you stay in that high energy field where you're really emanating your light being, meaning it is completely focused and it is not at all detracted by that scramble energy. It's a blissful clarity of senses where you can stop to feel things, and you do it with purpose. If you need strength, go out and touch just for 5 minutes. Put your shoes on, get dressed very comfortably, and just feel how strong and sturdy a tree is. And see what that tree can give you. Trees are very healing. Go ahead and just touch it and talk to that tree. Go ahead and talk to it and ask it, what have you been through? What have you seen here? Tell me your story. And that tree will begin to talk. You can do that to gardens. Tell me what you've been through, and allow those plants to speak to you. Go to a church. Tell me, what do you mean? Tell me what good do you give the people? Asking yourself these questions on recovery dates will help you really ignite on all your chakra levels, so that you're really in that intuition. All your 5 senses are really boosting up and firing up, so that your 6th and 7th senses are with you, and they're all aligned, and you're in that blissful space, and you're knowing how to identify what growth is, and then you're okay with the growth. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. We're going to do more. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out. Love you.